What's good, everybody, and welcome to a brand new Horror Haven LLC. I'm your host, Horror Gamer.
And I'm Gabby.
And boy, we have one hell of an episode for you this week. But before we get into that, Gabs, let these beautiful people know where they can find us and Horror Haven LLC.
We are all over the place, Horror Gamer. You can
Okay.
find us on Instagram by searching for Horror Haven LLC. We're on Twitter at Horror LLC. You can email us directly at horrorhavenllc@gmail.com. Slasher is the best place to find us because you'll find a whole lot of other horror lovers that you can connect with. We're there under Horror Haven LLC. And I really think that you should join our Patreon at patreon.com/horrorhavenllc. We have many different tiers to choose from. If you want to throw us a couple bucks or a lot of bucks, it's up to you. But when you join, you get direct access to both of us, direct messages. And if you join that VIP tier, you get your very own episode of Horror Haven LLC for your birthday. We love birthdays around here. Speaking of Patreon, Horror Gamer.
Yeah.
We have a new patron.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Jeff
Who's that?
K.
What?
Yes. Hello, Jeff. Thank
Jeff!
you so much for joining our little team here. We're so happy that you did. And Jeff actually wanted me to let everybody know he is an actual hunchback.
Yeah, shout out, brother. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you and your humps, Jeff K.
That's so awesome. But yeah, like you said, Gabs, if you guys want to connect with us, jump in on that Patreon. It's so much fun. You get that birthday episode, and the best part about, you don't only get to choose what we do on that show, you are the co-host for that show.
You want in on this.
Yes,
this
you
is
want
a lot of fun, you guys.
Yes. It'll be your show, literally your show.
Yeah.
So, check it out.
It's all you.
Oh, absolutely.
Christina joined our VIP. Her birthday's in January. So, Christina, start planning your episode now.
Yep, that's it. It's coming quick. Shit. We're already over halfway through the year, so.
I mean, it's August tomorrow. We are recording on Friday night. It's already August.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is so insane how quick just everything's going. But, I'm ready for August, but it is what it is.
That's because you take vacation in August.
That is absolutely correct.
But
Beach
I
trip.
look forward to September because that's my vacation month.
There you go. So, vacations all around.
Mm-hmm.
But, Gabs, why don't you let these awesome people know what this week's episode is about? Because you know what? I have a feeling we're going to get into some good topic discussion here.
Oh, I agree. It's funny that you should ask because on mute in the background at my house right now is the Blair Witch Project.
Ooh.
And tonight we are talking about, I think it's one of both of our favorite subgenres, found footage.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's up there. For your boy Horror Gamer, it is supernatural ghost stories. Then it's the found footage genre. I don't think it gets enough love, to be honest.
I was going to say, I think it's in my top two, definitely for sure. It might be my number one.
Really?
I do love a supernatural. I really love the idea of, afterlife and, all of that and the ghosts and the hauntings and all of that. But I love found footage because it's so real to me.
Yes.
And I think that actually, if you give me a supernatural found footage, I'm a pig in mud.
Yes.
I am so happy.
Oh, yes. You know what? There's something about a found footage movie. It literally puts you as the viewer in the situation.
You are the cameraman.
Yes. It is through your eyes, basically. And boy, like you said, you get a good supernatural found footage movie.
Done and done.
Are endless. And there's been a couple too.
Actually, one of my top 5 is a supernatural found footage. I don't know if you've ever seen it. We've never discussed it before, and I'm really excited to tell you about it. But I'll hold off for a little bit.
Okay. All right, so you're gonna is it like a surprise? You're gonna drop the bomb on us later, like I kind of did with that La Llorona episode?
Mine's probably not as exciting as your La Llorona story, but
yeah,
I'm coming in with a surprise this time.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, do you know? I've done some research for this week, and I've seen several conflicting theories or whatever about the found footage subgenre. A lot of people say that Cannibal Holocaust was the first. And some people say that there were some before that. I think the Cannibal Holocaust, if nothing else, was the first big found footage.
Kind of like the most controversial one.
Did you ever see it?
Oh, yeah.
No, I couldn't do it.
It's probably one and done for you, boy. And here's the... okay. Spoiler alert all day, every day. If you haven't seen Cannibal Holocaust... you know what? I'm not even going to do my whole pause this, go check it out, because let me tell you something. It's a rough one to get through, and I'm just going to be brutally honest. I actually watched it because Joe Bob, shout out to my man Joe Bob, he played it on the last drive-in a while back, and it was a rough watch. And the main reason it was a rough watch was because they depicted the death of animals and people killing animals, but it was real.
They were actually killing animals.
Yes, they were actually killing these animals on screen because for some reason, the director of this movie thought it would be a good idea to do this so he can kind of like entice the Asian market, because, you know, there's a long going that, you know, the Asian country, they really don't, they kill a lot of animals, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, you know, that's just what I've read and what I've seen. So I do apologize.
We don't believe that, you guys, by the way. We don't know that for sure. We're not putting something out there. This is all allegedly. We don't know. This is just from what we've read.
Yes, this is from what we read. So if you get offended, I apologize, but I didn't write it. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just bringing out what I've seen. And so he thought it would be a good idea to do this. And it was so awful. I mean, seeing these beautiful animals just being killed and knowing that it's real, it's sickening to me. Like, I don't know how somebody could have actually sat there and held the camera while they were, you know, killing the monkey or the muskrat, or the turtle one was horrible.
Wasn't the turtle one in the beginning? There was one in the beginning.
It was the muskrat.
It was the muskrat. Okay. I didn't make it past the first. I mean, that happened in the first 5 or 10 minutes. I didn't make it past that.
No.
I don't know if you know, the last drive-in episode of Cannibal Holocaust, you can watch it with the movie or just watch Joe Bob's commentary. Yeah,
and I recommend that I would just do Joe Bob's commentary, especially if you have an affinity for animals like your boy Horror Gamer. I love animals. I love all animals. I don't kill animals, any kind of animal, bug, insect, furry, anything. I don't kill.
Oh, fuck a spider.
I don't even kill spiders. Like, I can't kill anything. I feel like that's a life that I put out, and I don't like doing that.
Holocaust, fuck them.
Yeah, but like, yeah, Cannibal Holocaust, like, yeah, I'm not, just if you, it's one of those movies. Don't let your curiosity get the best of you, because it'll stick with you, and no.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first few minutes of it with that brutal rape.
Yeah, that was
and the killing of the animal, and like you, I was watching it on Shudder with Joe Bob. I turned it off. I love Joe Bob.
Yep.
Someday he and I are going to be best friends. He just doesn't know it yet.
Absolutely, Joe Bob.
I know. Hi, I love you. Oh, I love you so much. but I had to turn it off. And then when I saw that it was just Joe Bob, I watched that. That was pretty good, but
Yeah.
I don't need to see a realistic rape. I certainly don't need to see an animal being killed. Do you know the director of that movie was brought up on murder charges?
Yeah. He actually went to trial for that because it was so. I don't want to say it was so well done, but it was so realistic looking that they actually thought that he killed those people, and it wasn't
a snuff film.
Yeah, but
yeah,
they ended up. I think somebody ended up showing them that these people were alive, or some of these people came to the courtroom.
He had to bring the actors into the courtroom to prove that they were alive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, see, that proves that you can make a crazy enough movie. You know, I mean, granted, it was brutal and it was disgusting, but he had passion behind it. And he had I believe so much that these people were dead. You know, he did his thing in that movie, even though, like I said, it was vile and disgusting. In my opinion, he did his thing with that movie, you know?
I mean, good on him. And
yeah.
If that's something that, I mean, a lot of people aren't bothered by animal death or rape or realistic murder. I mean, if you're not, hey, I'm not judging.
No,
do you?
No judge there, yeah.
But I can't sit through it.
No,
I've tried many times. I can't.
Yeah, I did one time, and one and done for you, boy. That's it. No.
Yeah. I don't have any desire to give it another try.
Nope.
Would you consider the Faces of Death movies found footage? Or would you consider those compilations? And are they real?
They say they're real. I mean, some of the stuff you see in them, though, are really, I mean, if they're not real, they look pretty damn real. I think they're compilation footage, just to be honest with you. I mean, it could go into found footage, but like some of the stuff, like my buddy one time let me borrow one when I worked at an auto parts store, and I watched it, and I mean, oh my God, like they put this guy blindfolded and tied up in a hole and shot him with like automatic weapons.
Oh my God. And
I mean, you see bullets hitting his face and his like face getting all destroyed and stuff. I think they're real. I think that they're real, like real deaths. That's why I couldn't get past that. Like, I'm like, why do I want to watch people die? You know what I mean? Like, that's disgusting.
When I was a senior in high school, my best friend at the time turned 18 before I did. So he got his West Coast video card when we were seniors. And of course, the first thing we did when he got his video card is we rented the Faces of Death movies. I don't think you can find them anymore. I don't think you can buy them, or I don't think you can stream them, or like that. I tried to look for them for this, and I couldn't find them anywhere, which kind of good.
Yeah.
The one that sticks out to me the most, I don't know which number because there were several of them, but it was the monkey that they put in the middle of the table, and only his head is up through the table, and they buckle him in, and oh God, I don't want to talk about it. And then a parachute guy falls into an alligator pit.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's a fucking way to go. Like,
I know they showed like an autopsy.
Oh.
In one, I think the ones that I'm talking about are all in the same one, because I'm pretty sure that he and I, we didn't make it.
No, and I think the crazy part about it is my dad was telling me something about this. They actually showed it in the movie theaters at one point.
Faces of Death?
Yes, like certain movie theaters would show this, and if you could make it through the whole movie, you would get like a certificate or a card or something that says, "I survived Faces of Death" or something.
You better give me a free $15 fucking popcorn if I'm going to sit through that.
Oh my! I couldn't. Even if you gave me a $15, I couldn't. I would have walked out.
I don't want a certificate. You better pay me. Yeah. And I'm still not making it. I don't want to watch people die for real.
Yeah, no, and it's a thing though. And my dad said it was a thing that they would play these movies, and then they would give you this certificate, or they would give you this pin, or they would give you something that said, "I survived Faces of Death." It was like a badge of honor for people, I guess, that they were able to sit through an hour and a half, 2 hours of just footage of people being killed in real life. Like, nah.
every time my husband and I watch a movie that we don't enjoy, we always say at the end, we didn't like it, but every movie is someone's favorite movie.
Yeah.
So, to our listeners, if you know a lot about these Faces of Death movies, if you've been able to sit through all of them, email us or DM us.
Yeah.
I'd really like to hear more about these. You can't find that much.
No.
On Faces of Death when you look stuff up. And granted, I didn't go too much into it because I wasn't quite sure if it was considered found footage. So I was like, I'm not going to waste a ton of time on this.
Yeah.
But I would like to know more about them, especially because you can't find them. I can still remember the rack that they were on at West Coast Video. Yeah. And after we had rented all of them at the 5 for 5, 5 movies for 5 days for $5.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never touched them again, but we walked past them every time and just looked at them like, oh God.
It was almost like it brought fear to you after you watch it, because like what's on that tape, and it's something like you shouldn't be really watching, and at this point you really don't want to watch it, and it kind of, I bet you every time you walk by it kind of gave you chills when you looked at the cover, right?
Oh, I remember the covers. Yes. Oh God.
Yep.
They were very 90s though. I loved them.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, Faces of Death, I that wasn't really my jam. And I mean, it may be considered found footage, but I'm not too sure. I think it's more along the lines of, like you said, like a compilation of just disgustingness.
Yeah. Now, after Cannibal Holocaust, there were a few movies that you could consider found footage.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing really huge until the grand dame of all, Blair Witch Project.
Oh, listen, the Blair Witch Project, in my opinion, is like the standard for found footage. Even though there's been found footage previously and found footage after, that was what found footage done right looks like.
I love this movie. I say this movie because I'm sitting here watching it while I talk to you. I love Blair Witch. I saw it in the theaters when it came out. I went with my dad.
Yeah.
And that movie was so polarizing. Do you remember that half the people that saw it loved it and half the people who saw it hated it?
Yes.
And there was no in between. And that trend has continued with all found footage.
Yeah.
Since then, even the ones that you can say objectively, this was a really well-made movie. And this was a genuinely scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's still half of the people that just hate it.
Yeah.
And they can't get past that. And I'm not saying anything about the people who can't watch it because of the shaky. I don't get motion sickness, so shaky cam and stuff like that doesn't bother me. I can understand where it would bother people, but I will never forget when Blair Witch Project ended. I was stunned and I was over the moon. And I turned to my dad and I go, that was the best movie I have ever seen. And he looked me straight in the eye and he goes, that was bullshit. And I cannot believe that you wasted my Saturday afternoon sitting in this sticky theater watching these idiots walk around the woods for an hour and a half. And he got up and walked away from me.
Really?
He was so mad at how bad he hated that movie. And for years after that, anytime I would say, hey, you should check this movie out, it's really good, he would always go, is it as good as your stupid Witch in the Woods movie?
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
he hated it.
He was on the other side. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like as I was walking out, especially because I didn't have anybody to talk to as I was walking out because my dad was so mad, the conversations that I heard around me, it was the same thing. this group of people over here, that was badass. That was amazing. That was
Mhm.
awesome. This group of people over here was that I want my money back. That was the worst
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen in my life. Who in the hell could enjoy this? And that got me.
I
I
mean,
mean, the sense of realism that you get
yeah.
from a well-acted, I mean, because there's garbage found footage out there, because the thing with found footage is it's so cheap to make.
Yeah, it is.
There's
Absolutely.
there's a lot of garbage out there.
Mhm.
Which, hey, no offense, I'm glad you did it though. Do
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
passion.
Yes.
But there are a lot out there that are not that good. They're not well acted. But when you get the well acted found footage movies like Blair Witch,
Yeah.
you are there with them. When Heather is crying into the camera
And the snot.
and the snot and I'm so sorry, it's like you're sitting next to her with your arm around her, like, Heather, it's okay. You know, like you want to reassure Heather, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. You know,
It's so funny because that scene has gotten so much shit throughout the years. Like, memes have been made about it. That was like when they do like spoof on horror. That scene was a big one that they did because
yeah,
she's in the camera and she's pouring her heart out into this poor camera. This
yeah.
poor girl is just having a mental just breakdown in this camera, and the only thing that people get from that scene is the big bubble of snot coming out of her nose. you know, and it fucking snot. But I mean, she's like literally losing her shit. Everybody's just worried about like wipe your nose. Anybody got a Kleenex? You know what I mean? Like, it's so messed up.
I get so grossed out by anything snot,
Yeah.
bugs, anything like that. For some reason, that does not bother me, that scene. Like when people are like, that's disgusting. It's like, I don't even notice that. What I notice is that this person is having a mental breakdown because she realizes that the reason that Josh is gone, again, spoilers, everybody, you're going to hear them throughout the whole episode.
Yeah.
The reason that Josh is gone, the reason that she and Mike aren't going to make it out of there, it's because of her.
Yeah.
When you see that level of defeat, I mean, and it's not her whole face.
No.
It's not her body. The only thing that she really has to show her emotion there are her eyes.
Her eyes and her snot nose.
And her snot. And she does it perfectly with
Kills
her.
it.
You know how I feel about nostrils, Horror Gamer.
Yeah.
But even her, like, her quivering, like, nostrils, like, I mean, there's just so much emotion in the top half of her face. It's stunning. It's one of the best acted scenes in all of horror, let alone just found footage.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I really, really love this movie.
And then, another part I really liked about this movie, another scene. Well, there's like two scenes I really liked. Okay. Actually, no, I like the whole movie, but there's a couple scenes that I could point out that are just insane. Okay. The one where he's sitting there eating a leaf.
Yes.
And
that
just
is also so real.
Just like the look on his face, like you said about being defeated.
Yeah.
Like you could see the look of defeat on his face as he's just sitting there with his head down, hung over, and just eating a leaf and just staring off into space, like knowing that this is it for me. I'm fucking done.
Hungry and cold and tired and scared and yeah.
And then another scene, I don't know if you're gonna touch on this scene, but I'm just gonna bring it up.
Bring it up.
If you don't mind. Okay. Was the scene where he kicks the map into the river or the creek.
He kicked that fucker in the creek.
He's like, I kicked that fucking... Right there, you saw complete mental break. On all their parts.
Yeah.
Because he thought at this point that the map was so useless to them because for some reason her ass couldn't read it.
Yeah.
That he just kicked it. That was basically that was their way out, and he just said, "Fuck it." It's not.
But when you think about it, that there was no way out. That he got rid of basically Josh and Heather's security blanket.
Exactly.
That was the only security that they had left, and Mike was the first one that was like, Josh was the first one to go. He was the first one that we're assuming was killed, because you never really do find out what happens to any of them. You can assume.
Yeah. They leave you hanging.
Yeah, they really do. Best cliffhanger ending of all time.
Yeah, this the corner scene. Yep.
Oh, Mike in the court. Get out of here. I have a Blair Witch basement, and you best believe I don't go down there. Because if I ever go down there and I see my husband in a corner, I'm burning this place to the ground.
Burning it to the ground and moving it to the bus station.
To the ground. I'm grabbing my baby. I'm grabbing my dog. I'm out. But what was I saying? Oh, Mike is the first one that realizes, like, we're dead.
Yeah.
We're dead. This is it. We're done. And when Heather and Josh get so mad.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at them, that look on his face, like, why are you mad at me? Did you think that this was going to help you? You can keep saying it all you want, but that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yep. You knew where you were going, but you obviously didn't. And my thought on that is, I honestly think that once they got to that graveyard, the rock piles, I think right there is when she took them.
Yeah.
Like they weren't getting out.
Yeah.
Once they got to that point, I think that was it.
Because Heather had to fuck with those little stick men.
Yes, and because if you realize, if you really take notice, after that scene is when the weird shit at night when they're sleeping really started to kick up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When they started hearing the kids.
Yep. Oh, God, that scene was fucking insane, too.
Oh, it was so scary.
And the tent started shaking. What?
Oh, done. Yeah.
I would have laid there, cried, and shit my pants. I couldn't have moved.
Oh,
I wouldn't have been able to run.
I mean, talk about her snot bubble in that scene. I would have been a walking snot bubble.
Yeah, I would have been like walking, crying. Wait, guys, wait. You know, wait. I can't move. I'd be so scared I couldn't move. Yeah. But you know what the best part about this movie though is, Gabs? For the longest time, people thought this shit was real.
You know what? I missed the boat on that.
You did?
I did, because when I was in high school, I had a subscription to Spin Magazine.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they make Spin Magazine anymore. But back in the 90s, it was Spin and Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Those were the big magazines. And about 8 or 9 months before Blair Witch Project came out, Spin Magazine did an article.
Yeah.
About it. So I read it, and I remember going to work at I worked at a very, very small, very unpopular fast food restaurant that doesn't exist anymore in high school. And I remember going to work, and I was among the 3 youngest people. There were 3 high school kids, and the rest were all adults that worked there. And I remember taking in my copy of Spin that month and going, you guys, I read about this movie and it's gonna be crazy. And everybody was like, what? No, who cares? We have mortgages. We don't care about you. And it was just like, oh. And I didn't have friends in high school. Like I wasn't a very popular girl in high school, so I didn't have people to talk about it with. Anywhere. And when the movie came out, that was I had to take my dad because I didn't have anybody else to go with. And my dad liked the same movies and music that I did, so I thought for sure he was going to be excited about this. But we went out. The movie came out on a Friday. We went Saturday, packed theater, and everybody was like, "I can't believe that they put that in the theater. That these people died." And in my head, I was like, "No, you guys, it's not real." But they did they were the first viral.
Yeah.
You know, they were the first. A Sci-Fi Channel. Remember all the sci-fi specials that were about Blair Witch?
Oh, yeah.
Companion shows that
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this movie was huge.
It was. And like I said, a lot of people thought it was real. It even had a mockumentary called The Curse of the Blair Witch.
Which, by the way, was pretty creepy.
So good. It was creepy. It was so good. It was good. Yeah. For a side movie that is like the special features on the Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
It was so well
Who
done.
knows?
So, yeah.
Hey,
Like,
I have a Blu-ray player. I would
huh?
like to watch Curse of the Blair Witch again. I think I might buy the special edition.
There you go. All you go, yeah, and like I'm telling you, you get in there and you get in them special features, and just watching that, it's so well done. It makes you think it's real because it takes that, oh, it's real, you know, step to the movie. So like they talk about Heather and they talk about Josh and whatever, and how they have interviews with like their family. It's so well done.
Oh.
So well done. I
I
loved
haven't
it.
seen it since it was on TV, but I'm okay with watching. Like, I would love to watch it again. I remember how good it was, and I
Yeah.
remember being lucky enough to not have to work that weekend, but I
Yeah.
could watch it.
Yep. And it just put the emphasis on of it being real, and that's why a lot of people believed it to be real. And for the longest time, like those three actors, you really never seen them in anything again. And then, you know, in the mid 2000s, you know, in the early 2010s, you start seeing them pop up in like television shows.
Yeah.
As like, you know, special cameo appearances, and that's their real names. Like Heather Donahue is really Heather Donahue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they used their real names, and it was just crazy. It was so well done. The founding, in my opinion, one of the founding fathers of found footage is the Blair Witch Project.
Absolutely. I mean, it is the king. It's the
Yeah.
king.
So with that out of the way, I think
that we should do like our top fives.
I was just getting ready to
your
say
top
that.
five.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we can agree. I don't know what your list looks like, but that was one of my top five.
The Blair Witch Project is my number one on my top five.
Okay. The more I talk about it, I feel like it's my number one, but I didn't write it down first. So is it? I don't know. Tell me, what is your number two?
My number two, I'm going to have to go Paranormal Activity.
Oh, just the first one or all of them?
Just the first one, but for me, 2 and 3 are honorable mentions because that initial trilogy.
Really good.
See, I didn't care for 4. I thought around 4 was when it started kind of going downhill. You know what I mean?
I will agree. It is not nearly as good as 1 through 1 through 3 are absolute masterpieces.
Yes, like
as far as horror, as far as found footage go, yes. I mean, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, but with the first Paranormal Activity, I actually, what is that? I gave them money. You know,
yes,
kind of like.
So did I.
I got my name in the credits.
Did you?
Yes.
I didn't get it in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't get it in time.
I actually got my name in the credits twice.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. I got my middle name in one of them, and then I got my like regular name.
That is so cool.
It was like my first and last name, and then right underneath that was my full name.
Wow.
Yes, because I really enjoyed that movie. Now, fun story about Paranormal Activity. I kind of had that situation that like you had with your dad with the Blair Witch. I had with my dad in Paranormal Activity.
Really?
I took my dad and a couple of my buddies. We all went to go see it on a Saturday, and I was hyped. You know, I'm like, they're talking scariest movie. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm believing the hype. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck yeah. And I was like, Dad, you gotta come with me. It's gonna be great. He's like, all right, because my dad don't like to do much. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a homebody. So getting him to go to the theater is like an accomplishment. Trust me. And I'm like, all right, I got him to go to this theater, and we're gonna watch this epic fucking movie. So I'm watching it and stuff. You know, I absolutely fucking loved it. I was like, this movie is the shit. I'm like, Dad, what do you think? He's like, nah, it's all right. I was like, you're fucking all right. What do you mean this is all right? This movie is fucking great. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? All right. He's like, it was stupid. I said, come on, bro. You joking right now? He didn't like it. He thought it was too much of a slow burn. And while it was a slow burn,
There was
You
still
know,
a lot going on through the whole thing.
exactly. It was still a lot going on. Like, you had to pay attention to like the little subtle things, because there was a lot of little subtle things that if you didn't pay attention to, you'd miss.
Yeah.
You know, that's what that movie did so well, was it didn't come out in your face. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of horror movies nowadays, they just hit you with the bang right off the bat, and then you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. But this one built it up, and each night, I loved how each night, every instance got worse and worse.
Oh, and the sound
Yes.
before it. Oh,
Yes.
oh.
Yep.
I mean, that movie, I saw it I live not close, but not far from Penn State main campus.
Oh, shit.
And so when they were remember, it was like, if so many people in your town vote, they'll play it in your movie theater at midnight.
Yes.
And I voted and voted and voted. I didn't donate in time to get my name in the credits, but I didn't have a job at the time. And I donated, I'll never forget, I donated $7. I had $7 to spare. And they played it in State College, and of course I got the email that you can try to get a ticket to this midnight showing, and I got 2 tickets, and I went with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove all the way down to State College. We got there at midnight, and the theater was completely packed. We had to sit in the very front row.
Oh, yeah.
And it went me, my friend, and this giant brick wall of a man who was a football player for Penn State.
Oh, wow.
And his girlfriend was on the other side of him. And that movie scared the ever-living shit out of me and my friend and this Penn State football player who was screaming like a girl.
That's awesome.
Who was grabbing, and he was just he was bigger than you, Horror Gamer.
Wow.
And
that's
you,
crazy.
you are a brick wall of a man.
I'm a big dude. Yeah.
And this guy was like, if there's a bomb going off somewhere, he's my bomb shelter. This guy was just unnaturally large. And his girlfriend was probably about my size. I'm 5'2". And he was holding on to her like, I thought he was going to break her. I thought he was just going to snap her in half. He was so scared, and he just kept grabbing her. And thank God she was there, because she was laughing through the whole thing at her boyfriend. That was great. The only tension relief that we had. But at the end of it, my friend and I, we went to the ladies' room and, peed, because we had a long drive ahead of us to get home. And she came out of the stall, and her pants were undone. And she looked at me and she goes, "I'm shaking so bad. I need you to do my belt."
Oh, wow.
And that movie fucked me up so bad. I did not sleep for 2 days. And the rest of the time, we saw it in October. My husband and I moved in January. So this was 2.5, 3 months. I never slept in my bedroom again in that apartment. Never again. And for 48 hours, I was just awake. Every single light. And I couldn't sleep from then on until we moved. I could not sleep without every single light in my apartment on. And
that's crazy.
The tension in that movie. I'm tense right now thinking about Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that movie, and that's what it did so well. It brought the tension, and it kept you like just tense the whole time. And kudos to you for sitting in the front row, because you know what, your boy Horror Gamer likes to consider the front row of a movie theater the broke man's IMAX.
It's awful.
I love it. I love sitting, in the front, because I'm a broke man, and you sit in the front row of a movie theater, you got that big screen, like I said, like a broke man's IMAX. Who needs IMAX theater? Just go to the front row of your local theater, and you got yourself IMAX like crazy. But now, like, Paranormal Activity is definitely my number 2. But while as good as that was, I have a number 3, and it actually was a recent movie that came out quite recently,
Oh.
and it took place during the pandemic.
I know.
You know where I'm going at with this, right?
I know it.
And it involves a Zoom meeting and a demon who's, just terrifies the shit out of this group of friends. And that movie is Host.
I love that movie.
That movie was so well done. And the best part about it is it was short, sweet, and to the point.
I love a short movie.
Yes. But even though it was short, sweet, and to the point, it managed to develop the characters, make you feel for certain ones and make you hate others. It made you
root for them.
Root for them, and it also scared the living hell out of you.
Was that movie even a whole hour long?
No, I think it was exactly 1 hour minus the credits.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was about as long as our podcasts usually are.
I mean, I think today we're going to be a little bit longer, but yeah, I mean, it was that movie.
Just insane.
That stupid bitch.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I wanted to Spartan kick her right in the teeth when she did that.
I mean, you got what you got because you did what you did.
Yeah. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened
to her.
You
act like an asshole, you get treated like an asshole.
Absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
I loved it. And like I said, the way that the scene that got me in that movie was the pool scene where the guy walks out and he sees his girlfriend floating over the pool. How they did that, like with the budget they had, like, because this was made on a shoestring budget. Like this movie was made on a shoestring. It was made on a fucking Zoom meeting. It was made using Zoom.
It was done on Zoom, which is just mind-blowing.
And for them to be able to just have that scene just blew me away. And
even if you didn't like the movie, Host.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate the movie.
Yeah.
For the fact that it was shot on Zoom.
Yes.
And they did what they did.
Yes.
On Zoom with a non-existent budget. You have to at least appreciate.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's filmmaking almost at its best. That's low budget.
Absolutely.
At its best.
Yeah.
And the scene with the music box. That
on my water.
That was, yeah, you heard that music box and you're like, all right, great. Scared the shit out of me.
I'm scared again. Okay.
But that scene with the music box where he said about how the music box scares the shit out of him, and then he's in that barn and you hear the music box playing. Oh, that part gets me too. It's like, holy shit.
That made my shoulder blades move together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah. It was just insane. Now,
so good.
It was so good. But that brings me to my number 4.
Yes.
Number 4 is also a recent movie. And you know what? It's 2 movies, and it's a part of a trilogy.
Okay.
It is The Fear Footage and The Fear Footage 3 a.m.
Now, listeners,
love them.
you haven't known us for very long.
No.
But if there's one little nugget of background that I can give you about our wonderful friend Horror Gamer, he loves, for days, the way that I love Hell House LLC, The Fear Footage.
Yes.
So I am going to let you just
go at it.
Go at it.
Unleash me.
I saw the first one once at your recommendation. I liked it. But I have to be honest, I never saw the other 2.
Oh. Well, the other 2 is a little... See, the reason I like the first one and the third one, the second one, while it was good, it was a little lacking compared to the first and the third one. Okay. The first one was an anthology film. Okay. It was a
Okay.
found footage anthology film where
Oh, they're not all anthologies?
they're not all anthologies. No, actually, the first one's the only one that's an anthology movie. Um, and so they play it through the anthology, and it's just so well done. And the best part about this movie, and this is why I love the movie so much, is because these movies were filmed on a camera. And if here's a little fun tidbit for everybody out there, the whole horror horde, beautiful people out there. Here's a little secret. Your boy Horror Gamer does all his filming for his YouTube channel, his podcast recording, everything I do through a cell phone. And it's very hard and it's very tedious and it takes forever, but it's what I have. It's what, but I'm passionate about it, so that's why I try to give you guys the best every time we come out here. This dude who created this movie created this universe, this fear footage universe, using a cell phone.
Wow.
And a editing app that he downloaded.
No shit.
No shit. And he funded it all himself. I think he said he spent somewhere around the $300 mark to make this movie.
Damn.
$300.
Like $300 on shoes.
Yeah. He created this universe using $300. He used his grandmother's house for most of the movie. It was just it's such a well done project that I have nothing but respect for this guy. Like, it's amazing to me that, this proves that if you have enough passion, enough love for something, and you put yourself out there, greatness can happen.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy did. This guy, in my opinion, created sheer greatness with these two movies. I mean, it can't be denied.
Yeah.
But with number 4 out of the way, Gabs, you're going to like my number 5.
Yay!
And it's a movie that I actually just watched recently.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's Hell House LLC.
Oh, yay! Oh,
Listen.
I feel like when people talk about Hell House LLC, I have nothing to do with the movie. I didn't even see the movie when it came out. I didn't see it for a year. It was on my Amazon Prime feed for a year before I actually sat down and watched it, and I hate myself for that. I feel like when people talk about Hell House LLC, I feel proud.
Listen, I mean,
completely baseless pride.
And you should, though, because I mean, I never would have watched this movie unless you picked it. That's the thing. Like, I would have, like, it intrigued me, but it didn't intrigue me enough to pull the trigger on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you were like, "Hey, let's watch it." And I said, "Okay." And I'm really glad that you did, because it's probably, it's my top 5. It's one of the best found footage horror movies I've ever seen.
Just an aside, everyone, if you join our movie club, you can pick the next Hell House and impress us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That could be one. That could be one of the choices. But it was just, just everything about that movie. It the clown.
Oh, that fucking clown.
Everything about Hell House LLC was on point. The only gripe I have, and you know what it is?
The ending.
Is the ending. But from what I've been told, it's a story that you find out at the end of the actual trilogy. So I have to get in. I got to dive into that trilogy. But I'm just going by the standpoint of the ending of the first one.
Stephen Cognetti, Horror Gamer is not much of a drinker, but I am. Can we please all get together and have a beer?
Hey, listen, I'll drink a beer with you, my friend, just so I can get some of that behind the scenes backstory stuff. I like that.
Hell
I'm a big
House LLC is the only movie I think that I've ever seen that I want to know everything about that movie.
Yeah, it was just.
I am obsessed with that movie.
Yeah, it was well done, and I can't deny it. I can't escape it. It was a well done movie. kudos to you, Gabs. We might not agree on a certain movie, but we do agree on this one.
I mean, it is such a good. That's my number 2.
That's your number 2? I figured it would be.
That is my number 2. And the only reason that Blair Witch edges out just that little tiny bit over Hell House is I saw Blair Witch first.
Yeah.
It was my first experience with found footage. And if you guys listen to our first episode, you know that Horror Gamer and I discussed that part of what we love about horror is the emotional attachment.
Yes.
And the personal experience that you have with a horror movie over a rom-com, a bromance, a chick flick, all of that stuff. You don't feel that personal connection with something like that you feel with a horror movie.
Exactly.
And Blair Witch, the first found footage that I ever saw was just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Hell House is my number 2. Oh, God, I could talk about that movie for days.
Yeah. Oh, she could too. Trust me, guys. She could.
Go to our Instagram, everyone, and see my photos.
Yes, those are epic. I'm pumped for you that you got to do that.
Ever.
Yes,
Best birthday ever.
Epic. That was an epic birthday surprise for them to let you do that.
Yeah, that was so cool. So now we're on to mine?
Yes. So what is your number 3, Gabs?
My number 3 is Cloverfield.
Ooh, I was going to use that as an honorable mention. Yes, Cloverfield. I remember that.
Oh, Cloverfield is another one that I saw in the theater. If you didn't get to see Cloverfield in the theater, it's still really good at home, but I remember the first time I rewatched it was at home, and it wasn't the same. Cloverfield is one of those movies that I feel like you need to see it on a big screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To get the full effect, and hopefully it'll be like, those other movies that every once in a while the movie theater will do like a 15th anniversary, a 25th anniversary or whatever. I hope that they play Cloverfield in the theater again.
Yeah.
That was such a great movie. My husband and I saw it in a movie theater. When it came out, it was one of those old-fashioned movie theaters with the balcony and the beautiful woodwork on the walls, and there were 4 other people in the whole theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie scared me so bad that after the movie was over, my husband and I each went to the bathroom before we left the theater, and the men's room and the ladies' room were separated by a wall. They were just right next to each other. And when my husband flushed the urinal, in my head, it processed the sound of a flushing urinal as the sound that the monster made. And I screamed out loud and peed a little bit extra.
Literally scared the piss out of you.
Literally scared the piss out of me. And when we saw this, we lived in a very small town, and we lived about 3 blocks away from the movie theater. So we walked home. And all I could think the entire time we were walking home was, I'm going to see that head pop up over the building and grab me. Like it grabbed HUD.
Yeah, that was an instant.
That was so utterly original.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was such a good monster movie. It was such a good found footage movie. It was such a good all-around horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
With monster movies, I feel like a lot of the time there's a lot of gray area. Is it sci-fi?
Yeah.
Is it horror?
Mm-hmm.
That is a straight up horror monster movie.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was hella creepy.
It was terrifying. And if you have IFC, every 3 or 4 months, IFC will play Cloverfield like 4 times a day for 4 weeks. So if you haven't seen it yet, give IFC a couple months and they'll play it again.
Yeah, definitely you owe it to yourself to watch that one. That was a decent one.
That is a classic. I think that and the whole Cloverfield universe.
Yeah.
10 Cloverfield Lane was not found footage, and then whatever that spaceship one.
Oh,
the second one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Neither of those are found footage. But Evil John Goodman, those are 3 words that's enough. I've said
Evil
enough.
John
Go
Goodman.
watch it. Evil John Goodman. Are you kidding me?
I have to check that out. I've never seen the other
You
two.
never saw 10 Cloverfield Lane?
No.
Oh, I'm putting it up for movie night.
Hey, listen, might have to do it. I'm down.
That's such a good movie. I think, did we see that one in the theater too? We were really excited for 10 Cloverfield Lane. And from what I've read online, the problem with J.J. Abrams that I have, J.J. Abrams is the one who made Cloverfield, by the way.
Yeah.
He's so mysterious
Mm-hmm.
that you never know.
Yeah.
Is there another one coming out? Because, you go online and you read an article from 6 months ago that's like pre-production is starting for the next Cloverfield movie.
Yeah.
And then you go online and 2 months after that, it's like J.J. Abrams has no plans for another Cloverfield movie.
Yep.
But one thing that he did really, really well, and I think that it was the first time that I personally had noticed about a trailer. I love trailers, by the way. They're my favorite part of the movie theater, like the theater going experience.
Yes.
It was the first trailer that I remember going viral because of all the Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And that people were actually slowing it down to go frame by frame by frame to find clues.
Yeah.
That's the mark of a really talented filmmaker. And I think that this is another instance of found footage directors get a lot of flack. I think a lot of people consider found footage lazy, which it's not.
No.
Because you're making the most realistic type of film. That takes a lot.
Yeah.
And J.J. Abrams to do that with a found footage movie, it's amazing. I mean, the hype for it.
Absolutely.
That came before that movie came out,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my husband and I were fresh out of college. We were freshly married. We were so broke. We scrounged up the $10 for the 2 tickets. We packed my purse full of snacks because we couldn't afford popcorn, and we went to see it because the hype was so major.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, if there's another Cloverfield movie coming out, even after that horrible spaceship one, I will be the first one in line at the theater. And I'm going to see it on the big screen again.
There you go. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I don't mind seeing another Cloverfield being made on the big screen. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. My next one this is my surprise for you that I don't know if you've ever seen this.
Oh, shit.
H0rr0rr0rgam3r. The Curse.
No, but I've heard of it. I heard you were talking about it.
Horror gamer.
Really?
Oh my God. So good.
I have to, fun fact about that. You know what I found out? The director of Sadako versus Kyoko made that movie.
Yep. I knew that. Yeah. It says that in the description for the movie on Shudder.
Really?
It's taken me, and I will admit, it's taken me years to get through this movie. But I finally, knowing that this was going to be our episode this week, I knew that I had to finish it. So I did this week, and I started from the beginning, and I watched it all the way through. What an astounding slow burn, but not, I mean, I think we can all agree that in most aspects of horror, the Japanese do it better than we do.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, that's not even a question.
I mean, maybe terror is the word. They get the terror correct. I mean, their movies are not horror. They are terrifying.
Yes, absolutely.
And H0rr0rr0r the Curse, no exception. It's filmed actually like Hell House LLC, that it's a documentary made from the found footage.
Oh, shit.
And it's a constant buildup. And all of these scenes that, I hate a long movie. This movie is 2 hours long.
Oof.
So for the first hour, I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
This most recent watch, it's just like, this is why I couldn't finish this. I am scared and I am freaked out, but I don't need all of this. Well, it turns out you actually do.
Yeah.
Because everything that you think is so unnecessary and so drawn out, it turns out when it comes to the end, you're like, oh my God, A equals B equals C equals D equals G equals J equals K equals R. Like everything comes together.
Wow.
And it is so good. The actors in it are normal looking people, just like Blair Witch, just like Paranormal Activity, just like Hell House, you know. They're all just these normal looking people. So you really get that feel of you're watching footage that somebody shot.
Wow.
And it's the story itself of the curse of the demon is so different from anything that I've ever seen before. When you get to the end, the places that they're willing to go with the story, I am not giving spoilers on this story, everybody, because Horror Gamer hasn't seen it.
Oh.
I can't tell you about them without spoiling basically the whole thing for you.
Oh, okay.
But the places that they're willing to go in this movie are so astonishing that you're just like, you did that?
Wow. I definitely have to check this out.
It's
like,
not done in a trashy way. There's barely any gore.
Oh, wow.
If any, actually, now that I think about it. No, there's a little bit at the end. Very little bit.
Okay.
But the way that they do that is disturbing. It's a very disturbing movie. No spoilers if you give a shit about animals or children. This is a very disturbing movie.
Oh boy.
But like I said, again, no spoilers. There's very little gore. It's not like that. It's just, holy shit. You know, wow. It's just like, whoa, my God, you did that.
I have to check this out. This sounds, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued to see this shit. Hell yeah.
So great. It was so great. Love that movie. So glad I watched it. I'm to my last one, correct?
Yeah, number 5.
Number 5?
The big reveal, number 5.
Creep.
I've never seen Creep either.
You've never seen Creep?
I've never seen it.
Horror Gamer.
I know. I mean, I'm just dropping the ball all kinds of left to right with this, you know, wow.
Let us know, listeners. I think that I might have beaten Horror Gamer at one thing in our lives. Have I seen more found footage than you?
You may have. I mean, I've never seen Creep.
Wow.
You know, I think there's like 1 or 2 of them?
There's 2, and I believe they're making a 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, Creep. What an original idea. I won't spoil this one either since Horror Gamer hasn't seen it. The whole thing is this guy calls a videographer and he's like, I'm dying. I want to make a movie for my son. I want to make a video that he can watch throughout his life of me before I die.
Okay.
The videographer goes. Turns out this guy is a fucking psycho.
Really?
And spends the next however long just fucking with this guy.
No shit.
And yeah, there's so many like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? Oh my God, he didn't do it. And there's so many. I love when the tension is broken with laughter.
Yeah.
There's so many tense moments that the guy does something that's so outlandish, or I mean almost slapstick.
Yeah.
That you laugh. And you're like, okay. I can handle this. And then the next thing happens and you're like, what is wrong with this guy? And then he breaks the tension. And then the end. I think the end might be a little bit like Hell House.
Okay.
For me and you as far as our opinions go.
Okay.
That I know that I have my opinion on it, which I won't say. I think that if I know you well enough, I think that our opinions might be different on the ending.
Okay.
The ending in no way personally for me affected the way that I felt about the movie.
Uh-oh.
And I don't think that if somebody else had a different opinion would change their all-around opinion of the movie. It's just an all-around really good, really well acted. Mark Duplass, I believe, is the name of the man who played the bad guy.
Okay.
I don't ever want to meet him in real life.
So what you're telling me is the movie was just so good that even though the ending was kind of weak, it didn't ruin the rest of the movie for you?
I don't think it was weak. I think you'll think it's weak.
Oh, shit. Okay.
For me, the ending didn't make it any better.
Okay.
For you, I'm curious to see what your opinion of the ending is.
I'll have to watch it and I'll have to let you know, because now, I was intrigued with that, with your previous found footage one, but this creep one, now I'm really like more intrigued because of how you threw out the way the ending is and how you think I would perceive the ending. So I'm definitely excited to see this one too. This is one that I got to get on.
You really do.
Yeah.
You really do. It is so good. It is. And you know what? Both of them are tied for me for my number 5.
Wow.
The same as Paranormal Activity 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
They're one and the same for me as far as my rankings go. I think that you can put all of those together, that I think they're all the same quality. I think they're all the same level of scare. Creep 1 and 2, same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's epic. You know what, Gabs? That's a pretty solid list. Even though I haven't seen your 4 and 5, the first 3 were just solid ass movies. And I mean, we agree on the 1. You know what I mean? Like our number 1 is the same. So, but and here's the thought. Like here is like the thought, the found footage thought of the show is. It's such an interesting concept with like how we talked about earlier, where it really, if done right, if found footage is done right, it really puts you as the viewer into the story, like emotionally, with heightened everything, just everything about it, if done right, can really make you feel like you're in this movie. Now, with that being said, really bad found footage movies can almost be unwatchable.
Almost.
If not done right, a found footage movie can be a straight up just piece of shit where you put it on for 5 minutes and you got to turn it off.
Yeah, I agree. I think that found footage is... There are so many slashers out there that are so bad they're good. So bad that you're not scared. You're not disturbed. You're nothing but giddy. That it's just, this is so stupid. I'm having a blast.
Yes. Yep.
There is no such thing as that level on a found footage movie. A found footage movie is either good or horrible. There's not an okay found footage movie. There's not a kind of bad found footage movie. You're good or you're awful and unwatchable.
Yes, absolutely. And I've, being a collector that I am, I have a little bit of both. Like I have some really great ones, and then I have some that are just pieces of garbage,
For my first honorable mention, I have a question.
Yes.
Have you heard of a movie called Be My Cat?
No, I have not.
Okay, keep going with your thought, and I have to tell you about this movie.
Well, okay. But yeah, as like I said, as a collector, you take chances. You look at cases, because cases can be fucking deceiving. We all know this. But once you get a hold of that and you just realize that it's garbage, then it's like, okay, I wasted money, but it's in the collection now, so I'm not gonna, but like I said, as a collector, I found some really, really good ones, which I have a couple honorable mentions that I'll throw out then, and then I have some really terrible ones. But go ahead with your Be My Cat. Sound weird as shit.
The full title is Be My Cat, a movie for Anne. It is the very first Romanian found footage movie. It was made by a gentleman named Adrian. His last name starts with an H, and I don't want to mispronounce it, so I'm not going to say it. We are actually connected to him on Slasher.
Really?
Yes. And I didn't realize he was who he was until he posted on Slasher and said something about my movie is a cult favorite. It's called Be My Cat, a film for Anne. I had seen this movie like a year ago, I think right in the beginning of the pandemic when I was bored and I was going on Google and just renting anything that was on a list.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this guy is a creep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's a movie for Anne because the main character is obsessed with Anne Hathaway.
Oh, wow.
Circa The Dark Knight Rises. And he's making a movie for Anne Hathaway to convince her to come to Romania and be in a movie with him so that she can fall in love with him and be with him and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
He wrote it, directed it, starred in it, produced it. For when we talk about passion projects, this guy, you can tell, put his heart and soul into this movie, and he did the damn thing.
Yeah?
He is, shout out to you, Adrian, by the way. I emailed you, sir. I messaged him on Slasher today because I would like to have him on the show. I really want to talk to him about this movie. I was nervous to message him because he is so creepy in the movie.
Yeah.
That I actually had to say to myself, like, okay, separate it.
Oh,
that was a role that he played. I'm sure that's not who he actually is. There's altogether, I think there's 4 people in the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And if you are intrigued by or scared by anything with insanity, true insanity, Be My Cat is excellent for that.
I have to look into that one too. I have to check that one out.
I almost want to give you, I rented it again to rewatch for tonight. I think I might give you my Amazon because I still have it for another 24 hours.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I have to definitely check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm going to give you my Amazon so you can watch it tonight.
All right, yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Definitely. It's very short. I love that. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay, good. So it's not okay.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah. Now give me your first honorable mention.
So my first honorable mention, I'm going to have to go. It's actually a series of movies, and they actually had like 2 or 3 American remakes.
I think I know what you're going to say.
You do?
I don't know. Let's see.
It's the REC. It's the REC film.
Wreck.
Yep, Wreck.
Yes. There was only one. Just Quarantine.
Wasn't there a Quarantine too?
I don't think so.
Terminal?
I'll Google it while you're talking.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it.
So basically what Wreck was, wasn't it like, it was almost like a found footage, almost zombie kind of movie where like this outbreak happens and then just people are going crazy, and they're so well done. Another, like I said, another honorable mention because it's just
Quarantine too. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Terminal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was 2 remakes, and I enjoyed all of them. Like I said, I like that whole outbreak thing and just the craziness, and that again shows that if you do a movie right, and you put your whole heart behind it, you can come up with gold. And Wreck and Quarantine were 2 of those like movies that are just amazing. And then for my final honorable, I got 2 more.
Okay.
My final 2 honorable mentions are going to be Diary of the Dead, George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead, because your boy Horror Gamer loves the zombie genre.
Never saw it.
You never saw? Oh, that is such a good movie. It happens during the outbreak, and these this college film student is like making this movie when this outbreak happens.
Oh wow!
It's them trying to like get to safety or whatever, and he's recording everything that's going on. It's that one and Unlisted Owner.
Unlisted Owner, I feel like you have talked about.
That one took
So
me
many
by
times.
surprise. And I'm actually a friend with the director on like Facebook and Slasher and stuff. He actually sent me the PDF to review this film on my YouTube channel.
Really?
Brian, yes. And it was a great movie. Like it was another one of them found footage movies where, like I keep saying, if you put your heart into it, you can project that onto the screen. You did your thing, and Jed Bryan, he did his thing with that movie. It was
okay, Jed.
Amazing movie. Kudos to you, brother. Hell of a
Hello.
movie, man.
Hello, friend. Come and talk to us.
So, Gabs,
man.
what your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions. Well, actually, one of them was Wreck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so hey.
My next one, I'm going to give it an honorable mention as something, I think, a notable found footage, but I did not enjoy this movie.
Shit.
Not because I thought it was bad. I thought that it was, I would put it up there in, like how I just said that Be My Cat was disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
It is nowhere near the level of disturbing as this next movie that I'm going to say. It's one of probably the top 3 most disturbing films that I've ever seen in my entire life. I have no desire to ever see it again. I would not recommend this movie for anybody. But as far as a well-made, scary, disturbing, what you're looking for in a quality found footage movie, it's got all of it, is Megan is Missing.
I never seen it, and I want to see it so bad. I've heard that it was really good.
I hated that movie.
Really?
Yeah. No, I didn't hate the movie. I hated the way that movie made me feel. Mm-hmm. I left that movie feeling dirty.
Oh, shit.
Feeling sad. Feeling... I have a feeling that if I ever saw a snuff film, I would feel... The only thing that would make me feel worse about watching an actual snuff film as compared to Megan is Missing is that I would know that I was watching a real murder.
Oh, wow. Really?
Megan is Missing. Yeah, it is. It's the story of a young teenage girl. She's a good girl. Her best friend is a bad girl. They're like 14 or 15. They're very young. Mm-hmm. The bad girl best friend, she meets a boy online. Mm-hmm. She goes to meet him. It's not the boy. It's a grown-ass man. The grown-ass man snatches her. The girl does not get along with her mom. Her mom's single. She doesn't get along with her mom really well. They kind of assume that it's a runaway situation. Yeah. So they take it seriously, but maybe not as seriously as they should. There are no leads. There are no, they can't find her. She vanished into thin air. Yeah. Her best friend tries to find her. And spoiler, but not enough to ruin the movie for you, she finds her.
Oh, boy.
And the last 15 minutes of that movie, like I said, they made me feel really bad about myself.
Oh, shit. I mean, I still want to watch it.
Yeah, I felt dirty. I felt like this is not something that I should be watching. I felt guilty for watching it. I mean, which, to me, as a lifelong horror fan, that's kind of the mark of a really good horror movie.
Absolutely. If you feel like, as a lifelong horror fan, if you feel dirty and guilty for watching something,
it was. I'll put it this way: it was above I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left in terms of disturbing.
Wow. Yeah. And that's a pretty high, that's a pretty elite group there for disturbing. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I really want to watch that now. I mean,
I believe you can rent it. I don't think that it's streaming for free anywhere. I think you do have to rent it. I rented it on Amazon. It was like $4.
okay, so I have to check that out too.
Yeah, but it was. I mention it because I think that if you're not disturbed by the things that I mentioned, it's probably right up your alley. If you are disturbed by the things that I mentioned and you are a horror fan, it's probably also right up your alley. It's just, it is a hard watch, especially because for as young as these little girls are, they're very convincing.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that anybody who is past that age knows somebody, a little girl that age, that acts like that, talks like that, does those things. Yes, my boyfriend is this age. Yes, of course, but it's not, and they don't know any better, and it's just your heart. The whole movie just breaks your heart. But as far as a found footage movie goes, they hit the nail on the head on that one. I mean, they did it. It was very well done. My next honorable mention, I gotta go with Lake Mungo. Have you ever seen Lake Mungo?
I have, and I really enjoyed that one too. That was a real good one. Yes. Yeah. I love how it was like a documentary, and it was just so well done.
Well, actually, speaking of Lake Mungo, here's a question that I had for you for this one and my last honorable mention.
Yeah, okay.
Is it a mockumentary or is it found footage?
I mean, it could possibly be both, to be honest with you.
I guess you're right.
But I think it might lead more along the lines of a mockumentary because they packaged it and sealed it as like a documentary.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then in that case, my last honorable mention is Last Exorcism.
That was not too bad. I hated the ending though.
The ending sucked.
Yes, but up until the ending, it wasn't too bad. But that ending was garbage.
That had me on the edge of my seat. Almost. You know what else? Almost was that Last Exorcism. But I had seen Last Exorcism first, so I couldn't put this as an honorable mention, was The Taking of Deborah Logan.
That was a good... I like that one better, to be honest with you.
No, the ending of that movie, spoiler alert, that giant snake, you're a giant snake, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I like when they showed her eating that girl. Bruh, I was like, what?
Dumb.
Really?
Dumb. Yeah, no.
I thought that was cool.
That pissed me off. The whole that's what you came up with? Really? No. That's why I didn't include it, because I didn't care for the ending of Last Exorcism. Fuck you, ending of The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Wow. That hatred. You can hear that disdain, boy. She said, fuck you.
You invest so much time.
Yeah, I get it.
And then when the ending sucks.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
It makes you mad. It really does. It pisses you off.
Absolutely, 100%. Especially when the movie is on track to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And then it's always that last act that just fucking kills it.
Yeah.
I hear you. And that's, I definitely hear you, Gabs. But with all that, all this beautiful episode out of the way, I think, guys, we had one hell of an episode. I mean, this has got to be our longest one yet. And what a topic to have that on. You know what I'm saying?
I have one more.
You have one more?
I do.
Oh, okay. What's the last one?
The last one, actually, I don't have one more, because if Lake Mungo was more of a mockumentary than a found footage, I actually just want to put this in here because I want people to watch it.
Okay.
It is more of a mockumentary. What We Do in the Shadows.
I heard that was pretty good. Like, it's like a comedy.
That was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life, but it's about vampires, so let's make it horror.
Okay, so it's a horror comedy found footage.
Yes.
Okay,
mockumentary.
I'll take that. Mockumentary. I'll definitely take that.
So funny that they actually made a TV show.
I did hear about the TV show.
The TV show is just as funny as the movie.
Is it really?
Yeah. basically, you guys, I just want to talk to somebody about what we do in the shadows. So I am mentioning that here. So you can email us at horrorhavenllc@gmail.com or direct message us or something so that we can talk about how fucking funny this movie is.
I've never seen it, so I have to. And here's the funny part: I've never seen it, but I own the movie.
Are you
just never.
fucking kidding me?
I've just never got a chance to get to it yet. You know, your boy Horror Gamer owns a lot of movies, a lot. But
I really think that you should post photos of your collection on our social media so people can see that we're not exaggerating when we say your collection is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's up there. It's getting bigger by the day, I'll tell you. But I'll tell you what, since you want to talk to somebody so much about what we do in the shadows, is it?
Yes, or any of the movies that we mentioned tonight.
How about in a future episode, we make that centered around said movie? I'll do my research, watch the movie, and then we can just have a Horror Haven LLC dedicated to that movie.
And the show.
And the show, absolutely.
Yeah,
and the show.
An excuse to watch What We Do in the Shadows again? Yes, please.
Okay, so
yes.
we'll work on that. We'll get that definitely out there, you know, because I think that would be a fun episode.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Absolutely, because, you know, the best thing about Horror Haven LLC is we don't always have to go to the darkest, deepest depths, you know. We can keep it a little lighthearted at times, you know what I mean?
Hey, the only thing that's even close to as good as a found footage is a good horror comedy.
Absolutely.
When you can be scared and disturbed and laugh at the same time, how cool is that?
That is epic. And you know what else, Gabs? I think you may have just given away next week's episode.
Are we doing horror comedies?
We're going to do horror comedies next week, guys. I wanted it to be a surprise. I even have a surprise for Gabs. Next week's episode, we are going to do our top horror comedies, and we're just going to have a discussion based around horror comedies because there's a lot of them. And there's a lot of good ones, too.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited.
I hope you're ready, Gabs. I hope the horror horde is ready because we have one hell of an episode coming at you next week. And I hope y'all ready because we're going to have a good time with this one. We're going to throw it a little lighthearted next week and just have some fun. Have some real, like, guttural laughing fun.
Oh, be prepared, you guys. If either of our laughs annoy you, you're gonna have to get used to it.
Sorry, not sorry. Just saying.
Hashtag thank you and good night. Yes.
But, all right, Gabs. With all that, with that big announcement out of the way, I think this is a good point in the podcast to bid our beloved listeners a fond farewell. Like I said, this has been one of our longer episodes, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you, Gabs, for just spending the time and just talking found footage because it is, while this episode was our longest, it was the found footage genre, which deserves a long conversation about because it's so great and I think it's criminally underrated.
You know, it's my pleasure, friend. I love found footage. I love the genre. I love the movies. I love all of it. I'm so glad that we got to talk about it. And
absolutely.
Speaking of sorry, not sorry, I could actually keep going on this for another couple hours, but that's excessive and I get it. Hey, everyone. By the way, we're getting some really, really good, really creepy submissions for our ghost story readings. I want to hear from more of you, though. Please keep sending in those submissions. Keep sending us your scary stories. I don't really feel like, and Horror Gamer, I think that you would agree with me. I don't really think there needs to be a limit to the length of it. If it's a real life ghost story that you yourself experienced, tell us. We'll read it. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
We don't quite have enough to make an episode out of it yet, but we're getting there. Horror Haven LLC @gmail.com. Send us those stories. Twitter at Horror LLC. Search for us on Instagram at Horror Haven LLC. Search for us on Slasher at Horror Haven LLC. DM us, email us, become a patron. Not only can you send us your story on Patreon, but you can tell us about it as a conversation because you'll have direct access to both of us at patreon.com/horrorhavenllc.
That's right. And also, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And please show your boy Horror Gamer and your homegirl Gabby Gore the love. And hit us with that 5-star review.
5 stars.
5 stars. Anything less is a felony, like Vanilla Ice would say.
Yes.
5 stars. But all right, Horror Horde, with all that out of the way, guys, it's been a hell of an episode. Gabs, again, thank you for just staying up with your boy and talking found footage. It's been a blast.
I had a blast, friend. Thank you so much. This was a blast.
Absolutely. And
best way to spend a Friday night, guys.
Absolutely. 100% best way to spend a Friday night. But with all that being said, guys, this is your boy Horror Gamer.
And Gabs.
Saying until next time, don't fear the darkness.
Embrace it.